Children of the night, what music they make.
They're all gonna laugh at you!
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
What's up?
I'm not gonna hurt you. I'm just gonna bash you a bit.
Welcome back to Final Guys, the greatest horror podcast to listen to when you're vacationing in the mountains and the woods. I'm Jack, and with me is my partner, Jason Brant. What's up, pal?
The stream is working. I am happy.
That's right. Last week we had some trouble with the live stream. Looks like we're working. Hello, everybody in the chat room.
We're working even though I changed nothing.
Excellent. So if you don't know, we broadcast this live on Tuesday nights. So you can check our Twitter on Tuesday night about 7:15. And you'll see the link to get into the live chat if you want to watch this live. If not, just make sure you remember to subscribe on whatever podcast app you're using. All right. So this week we're down a man. Hunter Shea is real lifing. Again, or was he here last week?
Yeah.
I don't remember. Yeah. Okay. So this is his first week off, and then next week he's off too.
Right.
It's all a blur.
Assuming he doesn't screw his life up during this move, he should be back in 2 weeks.
True. Well, yeah, he could end up in rehab. So
Should probably be there anyway.
yeah. Listen, I hope for the best for the kid. So we'll press on without him, and there'll probably be less fights.
It's a weird thing, but we'll find out.
All right. So today's featured movie is going to be The Ranger, which is, I don't know if it's on anywhere besides Shudder, but it's a wacky little horror movie that we'll get to towards the end of the show. We'll have a non-spoiler review. Then we'll ring a bell, literally, to warn for spoilers. And then we'll get into spoilers. Before that, we'll do some news and then talk about some things we watched. Before we get in, you got any news or anything you want to talk about before we dive in?
The daily blog continues. Reached day 28 today. I actually got it done and posted before this started, which was a miracle. But it's still going. So if you have any interest at all in how I write books or advertise or actually anything I do during the day, I kind of blog about it all. It continues on my website, authorjasonbrant.com.
You ever going to write anything for the Final Guys site?
No. I spend enough time. I do have some more book reviews actually from Sheridan I have to post.
No. You are a writer. You're neglecting us.
Oh, okay. Well, then I'll get right on that.
All right. Okay, then let's jump to the horror news. Now, you probably heard this because this was on fire a few days ago. Blumhouse is at it again with a remake of yet another classic horror movie. Have you heard about this one? Black Christmas is being remade again.
This does not make me so happy.
So it's going to be released on December 13th. And Imogen Poots, who was in 28 Weeks Later and the Fright Night remake. She's the blonde girl.
Oh, okay.
He was also in Green Room.
Yeah, yep.
I guess she's the lead. And some other people who I don't know are listed here as people in it. So this was remade in 1974, and then recently, what was that? The 2006, I think, was the remake. It
was that goofy ass remake.
Yeah, which was pretty bad. Now, Black Christmas is often cited as one of the first, if not the first, real slasher movie.
Mm-hmm.
Margot Kidder. What do you think? This one might be halfway decent to remake, just because I'm wondering if younger audiences won't go back to the original. At the same time, there's only a handful of worthwhile Christmas horror movies anyway. Leave it alone and do something else. What do you think?
And I don't know, because I don't hate remakes the way everyone else does because a lot of my favorite horror movies are remakes, The Thing and The Fly and yada yada yada. But remaking a slasher today, I just don't know that it's gonna work the way it did, particularly back then. I mean, like you said, it's the first slasher, right? Is that gonna have the same punch now that everyone's seen all these other ones? Maybe they'll make a lot of changes and more of a mystery to it than the original, which was a pretty good mystery. But I just I don't know. I don't want to hate on remakes, and I don't want to just completely ignore this out of the gate, but it doesn't give me a great feeling.
I have a feeling if I see the trailer, if I get the mainstream teen horror vibe, I'm going to be like pissed, or it's going to have like a gritty, you know, more serious horror movie vibe to it. And I'll be like, oh, okay, what's this all about? I think I got to wait for the trailer.
Yeah, I agree. And yeah, we already had one remake that was so bizarre.
Oh, and I watched it for the first time. It's just like last year or two. And I was just like, wow, I had heard that this was not good. And that whole yellow guy thing was just.
I don't understand the decisions that were made there. So I don't know. We'll see. It's Blumhouse, so at least there's someone behind it who might know what they're doing.
Yeah, but listen, Blumhouse only gives you still like a 50-50 chance.
Yeah, it's just in our horror community that is astronomical odds.
Yeah. All right. This next one's kind of amusing. So remember how I told you a couple weeks ago that Coke was bringing back new Coke for Stranger Things as sort of a nostalgic 80s thing? Well, the latest promotion for Stranger Things, which I think starts up on July 4th. There's an upside down Whopper at Burger King.
Okay.
And as far as I can tell, it's a limited release. Miami, Houston, Boston, Atlanta, Philly, Dallas, Chicago, San Francisco, Los Angeles, and New York. It's 11 locations total. But it sounds like from what I've read, the only thing that makes this an upside down Whopper is literally they put it upside down in a box.
That's it?
And there's probably some packaging.
Man.
But literally, like Burger King has done like a black Whopper for Halloween that looked absolutely disgusting. Just so I'm either like, is this the greatest marketing move ever,
Or the
or
laziest.
is it something? Yeah, the laziest, or is it both?
I don't know. That's pretty minimal work to be putting in for a major release. I don't know. I couldn't even tell you the last time I was at a Burger King, to be honest. So I probably won't be experiencing my food upside down.
If they did upside down fries, how would you even know?
That's true. Maybe the box would be narrower at the top and thicker at the bottom, so you get screwed out of fries.
Yeah, true. The only time I ever go to Burger King is if I'm at a rest stop driving somewhere. So
Yeah.
if I happen to be on the road, I'll know. But I got a kick out of that. I was like, okay, this is either you're like you said, the laziest or the most brilliant marketing.
It's pretty bad. That's pretty bad.
Now another weird kind of gimmick coming up. Good news, I believe. Steven Spielberg is developing a horror series called Spielberg's After Dark. I don't know where it's going to air. Let me see if I can find that. But the twist of this show is you're only going to be able to watch it in the dark. It appears that it's going to have a built-in clock on the app that will only allow the show to be viewed after sundown. Upon closer look, possibly after midnight. This gives viewers a small window in which to view the 10 to 12 proposed chapters of the series.
Wow, that is such a unique idea.
Oh, it's going to be on something called Quibi? Or Quibi? Q-U-I-B-I.
Damn it. Now I need another app.
Quibi streaming platform. Again, that's a pretty good gimmick. And I'm sure that after a week or two of that, then they'll be like, okay, now it's opened up and anybody can watch it.
Right. Yeah, like the last drive-in streams were only going to be live, and then the next day you can watch them all.
Yeah.
What was the name of this again? Q-U-I-B-I.
Jeffrey Katzenberg's streaming platform.
Who the hell is Jeffrey Katzenberg? Why do I know that name?
Katzenberg's like a big filmmaker. Like producer.
Okay, so yet another streaming platform. Awesome.
Yes, that was the other thing I thought. I was like, well, here's another series that, number one, I'm not going to be able to, if this thing is like only be able to watch like at midnight and stuff, I'm never watching it. And two, if it's on another platform, oh well, let me know how it goes. Spielberg, on the other hand, Spielberg making a horror show very much intrigues me. This man is, I don't know if you've ever heard of this guy, but he's got some chops.
The opposite of putting your food upside down in a box is this, where people have to tune in at a specific time to watch it. That is cool marketing. I like that idea. And that might be a genius way too to get people to watch it the way you intended, because people are watching this shit on their phone at 9:00 in the morning, you know, with the sun coming in through the window on the TV, and then they bitch about how they can't see anything. It's an interesting idea.
I think you have to have a name like Spielberg or Stephen King or one of the big guys to have the clout to do something like this.
Yeah, totally. If I did that, people would just ignore me and never buy whatever I'm trying to sell. But fun. I kind of like that idea. I don't know that I'll get another streaming platform to check it out, but it does intrigue me.
I know nothing about this platform. If it's something that you just have to get a free app for, like there's that Pluto TV and Tubi TV, if it's something like that, maybe I'll check. I think that's brilliant, though. The whole idea of being able to program something so you can only watch it at certain times. That's so good. I mean, what was the time in the Amityville Horror that the father would always wake up at like 3:12 in the morning or something like that? Wouldn't that be cool if you could do something like that? That you could.
Oh yeah, the next
time
Amityville movie. Yeah, that'd be great. I do appreciate that people are starting to understand that we lost something when, what do they call it, monoculture, where everyone tunes in at the same time to watch the same show. That we've definitely missed that, where the next day everyone is talking about something.
The collective watching experience.
Yeah, we had that with Game of Thrones. That was about it. You know, that's something I don't know why I have to mention Joe Bob Briggs every week, but it's something I like that they're doing with that show, is that it streams live Friday night. So when you get on Twitter or you have a friend over, you're interacting with people while you're watching this, and it kind of brings back that feeling I had watching stuff in the 80s and 90s. And I appreciate it, and I'm glad we're starting to see producers and directors and writers and things recognizing that that's missing and trying to do something about it.
Yeah, I also I have no statistical evidence for this, but I just feel like even the TV shows that are being released and binged like on the first night, that's almost like calming down. You know,
Yeah.
It used to be, oh my God, Stranger Things is the one that everybody will binge in a day or two.
Right.
But a lot of these other ones you hear come on, and then, you know, just around the office. Yeah, I got to get around to that yet. Nope, I haven't watched yet. There's so many of these damn things, so many different platforms. And then it's really screwing up the culture, because now, you know, with Game of Thrones, somebody had to leave the office so the rest of us who had seen it could talk about it.
God.
Whereas, you know, if you missed the Seinfeld finale,
tough shit.
Or you had it on VCR and you watched it later that night.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, if you missed the finale of Cheers, maybe you'll catch it in 10 years on a rerun. Like you're in trouble. Yeah, that's a good point. I appreciate all these people that are starting to see we're missing something with this stuff. So it's cool. Dig it.
All right. So that's all the news that's fit to print. Let's get to what we watched.
Well, you know, after 109 episodes, I'm still forgetting the goddamn drinking rules.
Oh, that's right. The drinking game.
Oh,
what are the words? Quick. We probably said a bunch of them already.
Yeah, I'm sure we did. I guess I don't need to say your name since Dumbass isn't here. Your words are Black, Doctor, and Levine? Someone's name, I guess. And mine are Short, Punk, and Cabin. And the bonus words are Hunter, Slasher, and Throwback. So yeah, in the chat, apparently we said it 8 times. So there you go. All right, ready?
Go for it.
We have such sights to show you.
All right, this is the part of the show where we show just how little of a life we have by going over all the wacky stuff we've watched during the week. So, please, my friend, take the wheel.
I got to say, increasing my productivity so much the last month has really cut into the amount of time I have to waste watching stuff. It kind of sucks. But I did get a couple things in this week, including a true crime show, a kind of documentary show about a young girl who was kidnapped. And I laugh. It's horrible. Horrible. It's called Abducted in Plain Sight. It's on Netflix.
Oh, I have skirted by that one a couple of times going, should I watch that?
You
What's
have
the
to.
deal?
It is the dumbest family you've ever seen is who this is centered around. I mean, it is mind-boggling what happened with this family and this child rapist kidnapper guy that was involved in their family. I mean, it is so crazy. I had a friend tell me, you got to watch this movie. This guy is like kidnapping the daughter and they're still talking to him and they're still sending the daughter to see him later on, even though he kidnapped her for like a month and took her to
What?
Mexico and married her. I shit you not. Then the wife is sleeping with the guy after he's kidnapped her daughter. Then the husband is giving this dude a hand job in the car. It is the craziest story.
Wait, is this about Hunter Shea?
Yeah, it's called Abducted in Shea Sight. I'm telling you, I had a friend telling me, just describing this to me. And I'm like, dude, you must have not really been paying attention to think that all that happened. Right? It doesn't take long. You're like, what in God's name is the deal with this family? These are the dumbest people I have ever heard in my life. It will blow your mind. There's an FBI guy who gets involved because of the kidnappings. And I don't know, halfway through the movie, he's just like, I keep telling these people not to do this and don't do this and don't talk to them. They don't listen to anything I say. They just keep on doing their shit. It's just, it is crazy. You have to see this. Abducted in Plain Sight on Netflix.
How many episodes is it?
It's just a movie. It's maybe an hour and a half.
Oh, okay.
I can bring it up here. Yeah, it's an hour and 31 minutes. Just a true crime documentary on Netflix. It will boggle your mind and make you very happy if those were not your parents.
Huh.
There you go.
Awesome. Well, this should have been the main feature for the week, the movie I saw, but it may be better that it wasn't the main feature for this week. I went and saw The Dead Don't Die, which was the big all-star zombie movie with Bill Murray, Adam Driver, Tilda Swinton. I'm going to say her name wrong. Chloe Savini, maybe?
Sure.
Tom Waits, Steve Buscemi, Danny Glover, Selena Gomez, Larry Fessenden,
Wow.
RZA, Caleb Landry Jones, who's the guy who played like Banshee in the X-Men,
Mm-hmm.
and many others.
Best cast this side of the Avengers.
Tom Waits is in it too. Did I say that? So the guy who made this movie, Jim Jarmusch, I think his name is Jim Jarmusch or Jim Jarmusch. I gotta look it up. I'm watching this movie, and I don't know if you ever saw the Bill Murray movie Broken Flowers.
Yes.
But it's a weird movie.
Yep. Wasn't
but
a huge fan.
There's something weird that stuck with me that I don't know what I think about this movie to that day, but it's still stuck in my head. So I'm watching this going, oh, this is sort of the same kind of vibe as Broken Flowers. Sure enough, same guy who made Broken Flowers, Only Lovers Left Alive, the vampire movie with Tilda Swinton and Tom Hiddleston.
Mm-hmm.
A movie called Patterson, which I never saw. And Ghost Dog, which I think is the Forrest Whitaker.
Oh, yeah. Is that the one where he's using his gun like a samurai sword?
I think so.
Swinging it in front of himself.
So this guy has made oddball movies.
Yep.
And I'm watching it, and what a weird movie this is. And I don't know what either one of you guys would think, but if I had to guess, I'd probably guess you both wouldn't like it. But I'd put money more on you maybe getting something. Hunter, I think, might hate this movie, but at the same time, right when I think that, he'll turn around and love it.
I can't predict his taste in movies.
Because overall, I was underwhelmed by this movie. While it was going, I was entertained by a lot of different moments in it. And I think for the first 2/3, I was running with it. And then I felt like there was a lot of plot. It's a very deadpan, deliberately paced movie. And it's kind of like playing off that whole culture of crazy things are happening around people and they're just underreacting to it.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, that's what the trailer looked like. Yeah, like Nomedy, you might want to call it.
And Bill Murray and Adam Driver have great chemistry. Adam Driver actually, I think, is the highlight of the movie. And
Wow.
Chloe Savini, she's like one of the only people who's actually like reacting like a real person, like when things are happening. Um, but then like there are several plot lines in the movie that go nowhere. Like characters come in, they're hardly in the movie, and then they're just sort of unceremoniously gone, whether you see what happens to them or not. Like not everything is wrapped up. Then some we you ever see Repo Man, the old movie with
Yeah.
it kind of gets a little Repo Man weird towards the end. Um and
Okay.
some really weird stuff happens in it. And I kind of felt like, am I just not smart enough for this movie, or do this movie thinks it's smarter than it is?
Hmm.
And so it's not that I don't think people should see this movie, but uh, it might be better to see this at home, so that if you're not crazy about it, you didn't go out and spend money in the theater, because it's so weird. And there are some really good parts to it. One of the characters in particular is very self aware, almost to the point where it's almost Deadpoolish. Like
Oh, like fourth wall breaking.
yeah, yeah, something like that. I don't want to say too much about it. That is definitely adds to the intrigue of the movie. Uh, so it's to to quote you, it's probably the most interesting thing I watched all year, because I was watching go. Like I said, for the first half of the movie, there were some parts I laughed out loud. I was like, "That's really funny." Oh, where's that going? And then it just kind of like didn't pick up momentum. Didn't it definitely it advertises itself like Shaun of the Dead or Zombieland, and it's nothing like those movies.
Hmm.
So I'm gonna. It's not. I can't recommend seeing this movie. At the same time, I think people should watch it so they can talk about it. And I think a lot of people are going to hate this movie. A lot of people are going to hate this movie. And then there's going to be other people that this is going to be some kind of cult movie. And maybe if I watch this movie again in 6 months or a year, I'll be like, you know what? That's better than I remembered. Or I'm going to be like, why the hell did I even give this movie the time of day? I look forward to a little hindsight on this movie, but I enjoyed the experience of watching it, even though I was kind of unsatisfied when I left the theater.
Was there nothing but crickets in the theater when people should have been
There,
laughing?
so there was maybe 10 people in the theater. I saw a tiny independent theater, and it was the like 80th anniversary of this theater, and they were showing The Wizard of Oz in the other theater, the big room,
Hmm.
and there was this whole big press thing going on. They were taking pictures of the staff. There was displays and a like champagne reception going on, and then there was like 8 to 10 freaks like me. They're like, no, no, I'm here for the zombie movie. I'll just be going over here with no champagne and no nothing. And then I walked out, and I was like in shell shock. And then I hear my name yelled, and I turn around, and some guy I haven't seen in like 5 years. It's like a friend of my brother-in-law's. It's like, hey, Jack. And I'm still like reeling from, I'm like, hey, what's up? And I'm still like shell shocked from what I just saw. I like had trouble. I'm like, who is this person? Oh, I know him. What did I think of this zombie movie? Wait, he's talking to me, but I'm thinking about the zombie movie. I'm not having a conversation. I've snapped back into the conversation. So
Wow, glowing review.
it's a crazy night.
I've actually talked to probably three people now who did go see it, and they all hated it, but one whose review was lukewarm. He just said it just wasn't funny, which is what killed him the most. But the other guy went off. He said there was this whole thing about climate change in there and shit like that.
Yeah, there's some stuff with that. There's some social commentary that kind of it starts off fine, and then there's a part where it just starts to bang you over the head with it.
My favorite.
Uh but the not funny is the part, like there's some genuinely funny stuff that happens, and then maybe it just started to take itself too seriously, or it thought its sense of humor was better than it was, because it starts to just get really flat. Um, and or maybe I was just in tune with the humor more than the other person is for the beginning of the movie. I don't. I like the deadpan stuff, and I was getting a kick out of the artisticness of the movie, and then literally there just came a point where I was like, okay, this movie's starting to fail me. Then some really wacky stuff happens, and I'm like, all right, they're going there. So like I said, I think a lot of people are going to hate this movie.
Fun. I'm glad I didn't go. So when I had texted you asking if you wanted to do something else, it actually did end up opening in a theater about 20 miles from me that I could have gone to see, but I was like on the fence. And when you said that, I was like, okay, I'm good. Let's do something else.
Yeah, it gives you something to look forward to when it hits Netflix.
Fun. Hopefully those dogs aren't too loud. I'm sure they are for everyone. Gonna have to deal with it. All right, I watched a Blumhouse movie that dropped on Netflix in March, something like that, called Mercy Black.
I've heard of that.
I would tell you what the story is, but it's basically just the Slender Man. Like literally, it's just the Slender Man. Some kids do some kind of crazy ritual for Mercy Black, and the story takes place, I don't know, 15 years, 20 years after that, when one of the girls involved, the sole survivor or whatever, when she's grown up and gets out of a mental hospital and moves in with her sister, and people start harassing her and crazy things start happening, stupid jump scares start happening. That's basically the plot. I watched it because I heard Blumhouse, and hey, check it out. I didn't hate this movie the way all the other reviewers I read did, but it really never got going for me either. Do
you know what year that movie is?
It's this year. It just came out 3 months ago. It's been on my Netflix queue since it came out. I just finally decided, I'll watch it. It kind of walks the line between, is Mercy Black real, or is she a figment of their imagination and they were just doing this ritual like the kids in, was it Wisconsin or wherever, did it for Slender Man, stabbed that one girl for Slender Man. So it kind of walks that line for a while. It was fine. It wasn't great. Didn't I don't want to sit here and trash it because like I said, I didn't hate it the way other people did, but it just didn't do a whole lot for me.
Well, I mean, the difficult part about when we rate movies is it's a horror movie. So in some level, we enjoy it, even if it sucks.
Yeah, exactly. I try to find something I enjoy in every movie I watch. I don't always do that, but I thought the main actress in this was pretty good. But, it's fine. It's a Netflix movie, so if you're looking for something just to see what Blumhouse is doing on the side, what the Blumhouse side piece is, Mercy Black is there.
If you don't want to get your hopes up too high for Black Christmas, watch this to temper your expectations.
Yes, maybe you'll actually enjoy it more.
All right. So the other day over the weekend, I got up, and I don't know what channel it was, but some channel was showing Godzilla movies all weekend. And I managed to catch Destroy All Monsters from 1968.
Ooh.
And I came in right at the beginning. And this is why I love still being connected to regular TV, I just happened upon a movie and watched it. Now, this one had a big influence on the latest Godzilla King of the Monsters movie, because this one is basically these female space aliens come down and they take control of the monsters. So there's Godzilla, Rodan, Mothra in kind of the, whatever you would call that, the pupa form. And then a bunch of monsters that I don't remember their names. There's like various other monsters, and the aliens are controlling them. And so this human squad is challenging the aliens and dealing with the cities getting destroyed. And then when the humans are able to free the monsters and get them to be back on their side, I guess, the aliens summon King Gyodra, or whatever his name is.
Gyodra? Which one's that?
The three-headed
Ghidorah?
Ghidorah.
I can't remember. Sure. Monster Zero.
The Monster Zero. Who is from space. So this is boom, right where they got that from.
Cool.
So he comes down and all the other monsters have to fight him. And so this is the bedrock for the Godzilla King of the Monsters movie.
How did it hold up?
I will tell you this. I love man in suit Godzilla movies.
Okay.
This is the way it's supposed to be. Eh, I loved it, and all the stupid stuff with the people, and there are spaceships, and there's gunfights, and all that stuff. Like the people parts are dumb, and they get you from point A to point B, and or you're waiting for the monsters, and they're in. Sometimes they're in vehicles that are futuristic or whatever, whatever. It's so like
Really?
I was looking, I was like, this is the newer movie isn't doing anything different, except that the fact that it's dubbed gives the whole thing a much better charm to it,
Sure.
and the fact that there are big men in suits destroying model cities and trains and stuff. It just you can't beat it. And when the monsters are just like actually punching each other and jumping up and pulling each other out of the sky, or Rodan is flying around and chasing a jet and stuff. I'm like, this is when I was a kid, I could not get home fast enough to watch this. And all I cared about was the monster fights and the tanks shooting at the thing. And so it was a great nostalgic uh, moment for me, and I'm very happy I watched it.
So 68, is this black and white
Nope, color.
color? Okay.
Mothra is never a moth in this one, or if not, I tuned in a few minutes late, so I never saw Mothra as a moth.
Huh.
There
So
is a giant spider and the Mothra that shoot webs.
it sounds like they basically just remade this movie then to be King of the Monsters.
Without the aliens.
Right, right. Okay. But interesting. I'm sure I saw it when I was a kid, but I haven't seen any of those movies in so long. And there's no way introducing my wife to them now in our 30s that she's going to be entertained by them. So I need to go back sometime and watch a couple of these. So this was a better one then.
Oh, well, it's top notch.
Oh, all right. I'm going to check it out. Maybe, I think it was still, I don't think it was free on Amazon. I think it was a couple bucks. I'll check out the link then. All right, I actually went and revisited Deadpool 2. Not a horror movie, but did we do that on
Genre.
here? I feel like we did, right? Was that
I don't know.
Anyway, I hadn't seen it since the theater. My thoughts are exactly the same as they were then. The beginning isn't all that funny. It's not terrible, but it's not great. But once he puts X-Force together, goddamn, that movie is so much fun, and it is so freaking hilarious. And the dialogue just gets better, and the crazy, zany gore and it's just insanity of the movie. It's so much fun. I was really glad I went back and revisited it. And like I said, I'm watching the first 20 minutes. I'm like, oh crap, I forgot. The beginning's not the best, and then it's good stuff. It actually kind of got me wondering what the hell's going to happen to this series now that Marvel.
Deadpool is the only one they're not going to recast.
So they're still going to make Deadpool movies, Disney?
They said that Deadpool's sticking around, and if they continue to make movies, they would actually even keep them as R.
They have to be.
But there's also rumor that Deadpool might get his own TV show on the Disney network, which doesn't surprise me because I think they're pulling out all the stops to get everybody to subscribe to the Disney Channel. So things like a Deadpool, they just do a Deadpool limited series. Everybody's going to want to see that. So
I was just concerned that because Disney, I don't think they do any R-rated movies, do they? Not that I know of.
No, but they're Disney. They'll figure out something.
That would be nice because it's too good to stop now.
And then some people have called for the Stan Lee cameos to be replaced by Deadpool cameos in movies.
That's a funny idea. I kind of like that. So yeah, hopefully, have they made an announcement yet? Do they have dates or
No
production? No. Okay, so it's going to be a while.
Everything is up in the air right now with them.
All right, so there you go, Deadpool 2.
All right, my last movie. Ugh.
Oh, great!
I'd heard this was a good movie, but I was looking for something one night. I was tired. I couldn't handle anything I was going to have to think for, and I saw the movie with Sarah Hyland from Modern Family, Satanic from 2016.
Oh yeah, on Netflix, right?
It's either on Netflix or Amazon. I don't know where the hell
I think it's on my list, and it's one I just haven't brought myself to watch yet.
And Listen, I think Sarah Hyland is a very talented comedic actress. Like if you watch Modern Family, I think she's got chops. Um, this movie is just a train wreck. It's just a bad teen horror movie with a bunch of pretty teens in LA. They go to a hotel where a murder had happened, and it's all kind of a blur. Not really much happens, but there's some ritual stuff, and then this girl who was in part of like kidnapped by a cult. They rescue her, and she ends up killing herself, and there's a spell, and now they're being harassed by the supernatural. I kind of fell asleep at the end, and then had to go back and rewind it to what. It's just not a good movie, and so all the warnings of like, oh, this is not a good movie, were pretty much true. Like they're uh
I'm looking at
sometimes
it on IMDb. The poster is bad.
yeah.
Wow. Okay.
I was just like, I don't want to pay for something right now, and I need because, like I said, I kind of nodded off there towards the end, and so I would say, yeah, don't really need to watch this one.
Okay. As you were describing it, I literally took it off my Netflix queue. So
You're welcome.
thank you for the heads up. All right, I watched one other thing, and I feel like anytime I talk about Black Mirror, I kind of have to review them episode by episode because the show is just, well, first of all, every episode is like an hour long now, and they're all so different, and the production quality is high. So I went to watch the new, I think 3 episodes just dropped on Netflix.
Yeah, I need to watch those.
When I brought it up, I saw, shit, I actually didn't watch one of the episodes from last season called Hang the DJ. So I watched that. Fortunately, it was one of the shorter ones. It's about a dating app that basically makes people date other people in the app exclusively for an I don't know how they pick the time, but sometimes it's 12 hours, sometimes it's a year, and you're stuck with just this person. You have to live with them, you have to everything. And supposedly by doing this, it reads your interactions and how you handle people in certain situations, and it finds your perfect mate. It was very different than the rest of the Black Mirror episodes. It wasn't as nasty, but I dug it. I thought just having one with a kind of a different tone, I enjoyed. Except till it got to the very, very end. Kind of the reveal of the episode didn't do it for me. And I don't want to explain it because I would ruin it, but I had just kind of an issue with it. But overall, solid episode. I mean, Black Mirror, I don't know that I've really seen an episode by them that I thought was poor yet.
I've seen 3 episodes of that. So the first 2 from the first season.
Mm-hmm.
Then I watched the Star Trek one because I heard everybody talking about it. And I'm gonna watch the 3 new ones because Anthony Mackie, Miley Cyrus, and the guy who plays Moriarty from Sherlock
Mm-hmm.
are the 3 headlines. And I've heard the Anthony Mackie and the Sherlock guy one are really good. I've heard mixed reviews on the Miley Cyrus one, but
Yeah,
I
me
figured
too.
I'm not going to wait since it's an anthology and it doesn't really matter the order you watch them in. I'm going to watch season 3. I'm watching Jessica Jones now, and then when I'm done with that, I'm going to watch those 3. I think
I'm probably gonna try and watch them this weekend. I don't know how I missed that one, but man, I just love this show. I'm with you. I've actually heard mixed things about 1 or 2 of these, so we'll find out. But Black Mirror is always amazing, and it's one of those things that makes me want to keep my Netflix subscription because they crush it. So
maybe
that's
season
it.
3. Season 3 could potentially be a topic for this show.
This is true. Season. Oh, you mean the new one?
Yeah, because there's only 3 episodes.
Okay, yeah. I think whatever season is. Yeah,
Whatever season.
I dig it.
All right, I'm done. How about you?
I'm done.
All right, main feature time. Let's go.
You like scary movies?
Uh-huh.
What's your favorite scary movie?
I don't know.
You have to have a favorite. What comes to mind?
All right. This week's movie was a Shudder. I don't know if it's a Shudder exclusive, but we both watched it on Shudder. The Ranger,
Hmm.
which this is about a bunch of punk rock kids who go to one of the girls, the main girls, got a mountain house in the woods, mountains, where they encounter a crazy ranger. And the main girl has a history with this guy. That's about all I can tell you without spoiling anything, right?
Sure. I mean, not much to spoil story
Yeah.
wise, really. It's pretty basic.
The Ranger is about a ranger. Like
Yeah.
we're talking park ranger, like Yogi Bear. The main character, the ranger, I felt like if Rob Riggle and General Zod, Michael Shannon, is that his name? If they had a kid, it would be the ranger.
Goofy looking kid. Yeah. Yeah. Eh, yeah. I don't, man, this is a weird movie. It was. Do you just want to jump into it?
Yeah, I'll tell you, the vibe I got off this movie was I felt like this was like a movie I would have rented in the 70s or 80s from the video store. Like, oh, what's the Ranger? And you'd get it, and it would be, you might be talking during the beginning part or dozing in and out. And then the second half would happen, and enough wacky stuff happened that you'd be like, oh, that was a good one to rent. There was some good kills. Oh, there was some insane stuff that happened in this. It didn't quite have maybe the edge that some of the stuff from the 70s and 80s
Definitely
like
not.
this had. But I think for a high school kid now who would never go find the movies that we watch, this might be that equivalent. They're like, holy crap, I watched this movie, the Ranger, in this. There's some
Mhm.
stuff that happens in the third act that might take them off guard. For you and I, we're just like, yeah, okay. Oh, good. That happened. That's fun. So
No,
I thought it was
that's good. That's actually a good way of saying it. Yeah.
I got for a Shutter movie, I felt like it was a decent watch.
this this is a weird movie for me because I think you nailed it. This felt like a VHS rental you would just find back in the day. You never heard anything about. You saw the cover and you thought, "What the hell?" You watch it, you're like, "Hey, that was decent slasher movie." For today, I don't know. I don't know if my expectations were off, but I got to tell you, man, this was the longest 80-minute movie I think I have ever watched. The first 40 minutes or so, nothing happens. It's just it really shocked me, and I was losing interest fast. Uh, the last act definitely makes up for it in the action department, but it was just it was weird. I don't even know how to describe my feelings about it because I'm just kind of all over the place, kind of like the movie was. I mean, the Ranger is in it at the very beginning, and then you don't see him again for a long time, and then he disappears again for a long time, and it's just. Mm, it was weird. The parts that were fun, I enjoyed. I actually thought it looked good. The parts that I didn't enjoy, I really didn't enjoy.
Well, you have a cast of all unlikable people except maybe
Yes.
the lead girl. And so while you're sitting through her and her friends,
Yes.
you're just like, oh God, please get to the woods so somebody can stalk them and pick them off.
Yes. God, preach. If you're
And
gonna
it
have an
takes a while.
unlikable cast, you gotta have them getting killed right away.
Now, this is my second Larry Fessenden movie of the week because he was
Mm,
the uncle.
that's right.
So we have flashbacks of the little girl, of the main girl when she was a younger girl, and Larry's the uncle, and so I'm like, hey, what are the odds of that? um,
What a weird looking dude.
when it got into the crazy stuff, which we can talk about in spoilers, that's where I was like, oh, okay, good, we're getting going. And then there was a part of me going, you ever see Mother's Day, the trauma movie?
Yes, a long time ago.
Yeah, long
That's
time
what I'm
ago.
thinking of.
I thought I was like, this is like trying to get like bizarre, like something like that. And it's it's kind of there, but it wasn't, I don't know.
You're exactly right. You're like,
It didn't have the edge or something. But it was still enjoyable. I was like, oh, good. We're going here. Like,
yeah, it felt like they were trying to do a couple different things, and it never quite got there on all of them. Crazy, gory slasher, it didn't quite get there. The comedy parts didn't quite get there. But add it all up, I thought it was all right. Like I had enough fun with it.
one thing I did like about it though was there's a history between the main girl and the ranger, and by giving us flashbacks periodically through it, you start to see it, and you think you know what happened, but you don't really. And so I thought that was pretty good, that they kept you guessing until they finally reveal what happened.
Mhm.
So I thought that was okay. So yeah, I wasn't. I was. It was fine. It was a good for a Shutter movie. It was fine. I think it was just it really. Yeah, I was with you. I was looking at my watch for the first half of this movie, and then finally it got going.
Yeah. Yeah. You really said it when you said you have all these unlikable characters, and we're watching this drama unfold between them, and I'm supposed to care. I mean, they're all coked out of their minds being assholes. I just they stabbed a cop in the first 2 minutes. Like I don't care. So if you have Jason Voorhees smashing through the door, killing them, now I care. But by the time the stuff started happening, I was like, God, ugh, please. And then I'm like, getting ready to start looking at my phone, and then things start happening. It's like, okay, now it's watchable.
Yeah.
Now I'm digging it. So that's why I said I think it was 80 minutes with credits. It felt twice that long to me because the beginning was just a slog.
Yeah, definitely. There came a point where I was like, wow, when is this movie going to get going?
Yeah. Yeah. So what did you think about the Ranger himself? Was he a suitable slasher villain?
He was okay. There was some good kills. Um, he wasn't like over the top nuts, but he didn't have that like Jack Torrance crazy behind his eyes.
Right.
Uh, so I don't know. The character the Ranger is not going to go down as an iconic slasher figure. You know, he kind of had like a Sergeant Slaughter look to him. But if he talked like Sergeant Slaughter, it would have been better.
Oh yeah. I have to say, I felt like they squandered one really genius thing in the movie, and it's when he's toying with the one person and says he starts reading off codes from the rule book of the park, and that's how he's kind of deciding if the person lives or dies or what he's going to do to him. I thought he should have done that the whole movie. This guy's just so crazy about taking care of this park that any infraction, as he's killing you, he starts reading off the code.
And now you're hitting what I thought about was, so they should have maybe had some other people in the park that he picks off or something to fill the time before he goes after the main characters.
That's a good idea.
Because they did a branding thing with him where you've got this guy in a park ranger outfit, and then somebody sprays him in the eyes with spray paint. So he has almost like a Native American
Yeah.
war paint look over his eyes.
It's a
And
raccoon.
I'm like, oh, so if this was a hit, I could go to the next comic or a horror convention in a park ranger outfit with black over my eyes, and suddenly I'm the ranger. But maybe
Never
I'll just
went
go
there,
as Sam
right?
from Trick or Treat or something.
Yeah, it just didn't go as far. Yeah. When he started doing it, I thought, oh, this is kind of a neat thing. This is his gag. Didn't really do it again, so it was just like, oh, okay, it's kind of wasted, I thought. But that was a cool scene where he's doing that. I guess we can talk about that a little bit in spoilers, but I thought that was fine. I don't know, man. Even okay, so you want to do a punk rock movie, but they were punk rockers, but then that never played a part in the story. So it's just even that part, it just didn't quite do enough. I kind of wish they'd picked one route to go with this. You want to do funny, you want to do serious slasher, you want to do goofy villain. Like pick one and kind of focus on that, and I think maybe it would have flowed better for me.
I just think they could have played up the, like you said, the one-liners and the kills, and made the ranger a little bit more of a. It was okay once it got going. Like I said, there's some parts I really enjoyed, but they could have made him a more over the top villain.
Yeah,
that
could have been
a little more memorable.
Yeah, it Yeah, it's just one of those things where it's like, oh, the Ranger, he's just some crazy dude. The other thing I had, I actually thought a lot of people might have a problem with. You give your slasher villain a gun, that's a big no-no in slasher movies, and it's pretty much what he uses.
Well, I guess he's not a slasher. He's a psycho. I don't know.
Yeah, there you go. Maybe that's what it is. So I was just thinking about that. I was thinking, man, Steve Barnard's probably not going to be happy with this gun usage. But yeah, so it was, it was all right for me.
Yeah. All right. I think it's time to get to spoilers. If you don't want to get spoiled for the Ranger, which, to be honest with you, you could still watch this movie after spoilers.
Yeah, they're gonna make a difference. It's a slasher. Everybody dies.
It's a Shudder horror movie. It's fine. If you watch it, it's not a waste of time to watch it. Just you got to set your bar at medium, not high.
Yeah. You make a good point, actually. This is a good movie that I like to see on Shudder because I didn't spend, I spent $4 a month on Shudder. That's it. So this is a great find for me on there. I'm not expecting them to go get all the biggest new releases exclusively on their platform. So totally happy with it in that regard.
One of the things that made me like this movie, or one of the things I liked in the movie, was the kid who gets killed in the convenience store with the axe.
Mm-hmm.
I like that kill.
Oh, okay.
That felt like a good old fashioned 80s horror movie kill.
It was fast and unexpected. So yeah, and I like the spray paint thing too. So I thought that was pretty cool. What did you think about the bear trap kill?
I want to know, has anybody actually seen a bear trap in real life? They're all over the place in movies, and I've never actually seen one in real life. Maybe, thank God, I haven't seen one.
I've seen traps. I haven't seen bear traps. I had an uncle, or a great uncle or whatever, who went trapping when I was really young. But they
I've never seen a bear trap in a movie actually trap a bear. It's always trapped a person.
That's true.
So why are we even calling it a bear trap? It should be a person trap that also could be used for bears.
Stupid punk rocker asshole trap.
Yeah. The bear trap, the funny thing about that was the guy gets his foot cut off and then he's able to drive a car a little while later.
Yeah, he was pretty fine after about 5 minutes.
Good thing it wasn't standard, because how would you work the clutch?
I was actually wondering how he's going to drive effectively using his left foot. But yeah, that was the scene where I was like, okay, this is kind of cool. We're starting to get into slasher kills, but just the way the whole thing was done was just weird to me. The way he just basically pulls his foot off. That was weird. I don't know. But that was the part where I liked where he's reading off the codes of the park, and then picks up his foot and walks away with it. I liked that. I thought that was well done.
Then there was two of the punk rockers were like a gay couple.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of felt like that was just a forced thing.
It was.
To make the movie relevant for now. Because it really had nothing to do with the plot.
I'm of two minds. One, we all know why they put it in there. It was a push for inclusivity or whatever the hell they're calling it now.
Mm-hmm.
But they did put a gay couple in there, and there was really no mention of it. They didn't dwell on it too much. It wasn't like some stupid subplot that goes nowhere. They were just gay guys. So it didn't bother me in that regard. It just was.
Yeah.
So
now,
it wasn't like terrible.
The moment of this movie where I'm like, oh, this is now like one of those wacky movies I would have rented in high school, was when the girl is captured. She wakes up in the guy's like basement in a cage, and he is now naked, wearing a wolf skin, and like howling and crawling around the basement.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, okay, here's the moment where this movie has just taken its turn into like wacky horror movie. That this is the notable thing that's happening now. Okay, park ranger guy is 100% loony bins.
Yes, which made me wonder, how is this guy up here just massacring people by the dozens, and nobody has caught him? I mean, he's got body parts in his freaking basement. That was kind of something I was struggling with a little bit at the end. I'm like, this dude is very murderous to have just been living up there for freaking 20 years or whatever it's been, untouched by society. But I don't know. I'm probably overthinking it.
The whole thing with the wolf thing, that's where I was like, so I'm wondering if there's, I don't know if you can watch this movie if you don't have Shudder. So somebody who would go to the trouble of getting Shudder isn't going to blink at this movie. They're going to be like, oh, good, another horror movie with crazy stuff happening. If this was on Netflix and somebody was just like, oh, let's watch this for the Halloween party, and that happens. This is like when your girlfriend gets up and goes, okay, we're turning this off.
No, that's a good point. That's a good point. This is definitely for the Shudder crowd, which is why we're sitting here saying, hey, it wasn't that bad, even though it's pretty ridiculous.
And yeah, that's exactly it. This movie was made for the Shudder crowd. And in the Shudder pantheon, this is like a good middle of the road movie, but it's not one of those ones we're going to put in the Hall of Fame. Like, oh, Revenge. That movie was crazy. You got to see that movie.
Yeah, this isn't going to make my top 10 this year, but getting it with my Shudder subscription, sure, why not?
Yeah.
So it sounds like we're both like, if you can skip the first half, you'll probably enjoy this a lot more than I ended up.
Yeah, again, it's a new release on Shudder. It's definitely worth watching. That's the way I would say it. But I maybe once again set the bar at medium, not at high, or don't be afraid to surf your phone until the second half of the movie.
You're not going to miss anything. I mean that literally. You're not going to miss anything that you need to know. Punk rockers in a slasher movie. There, I just said the first word.
I thought the lead girl was pretty good.
Yeah, I've seen her in other stuff just recently. Damn it, I can't remember what it was. I'll look it up. But yeah, I didn't think the acting was terrible or anything like that. Just the characters were terrible.
I thought I recognized the actress who played the little version of her. She looked familiar. I got to see if she was in something.
Chloe Levine, I think is her name. The main actress.
That's why he made the drinking name.
Yeah, there we go. Apparently she was in The Defenders, which I haven't seen yet.
Aha.
And I just saw her in the OA. That's why I recognize her, because I watched that maybe 2 weeks ago. So she's in some stuff. She's a good actress.
Okay, so Brett Sheridan's cheating on the drinking game. Because you said a name that was my word, and I didn't say it, but he's making people drink. So I'm calling shenanigans on this clown.
He's padding the numbers in the chat.
He's padding the numbers, totally. Maybe he's just drunk.
Oh, God. All right.
All right. With that, I guess we've talked all we can talk about with The Ranger.
It's a simple movie. There's not a lot to go into.
It's a simple movie. The Ranger is a simple man.
Simple Jack.
All right. With that, we're not exactly sure what we're going to do next week. It might be Child's Play. It might be something else. We've got to figure out our lives, people. Keep an eye on our Facebook and our Twitter, and we'll post what next week's featured movie is, and we'll let you know.
Yep. Also, I'd like to get predictions from everyone on Twitter on if they think Child's Play will actually be good or not. I'm curious what everyone thinks.
True. Mark Hamill, Aubrey Plaza.
It's true. It's true. Can't complain about either one of them.
You never know. All right, folks. Thanks for joining us. Don't forget to subscribe, tweet, share, review, all the other stuff that helps up podcasts. We appreciate it. Folks in the chat room, thanks again. Cheers. Levine. And I guess we'll see you all next week, folks. Take it easy.
Bye.